All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the SPFBOX author interview Blitz. I am here for a very special feature one-to-one live chat with Shannon Holly. Shannon, it is so good to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's so wonderful to be here.
And I'm so honored that this is your first live interview. I was like, one day Shannon's name's going to be all over the place, and I'm going to be like, I interviewed Shannon. Oh, truly such an honor, and congrats on making it in to
Thank
the
you.
10th year of the Self-Published Fantasy Blog Off. So why don't you tell the readers who are watching a little bit about who you are, what kind of fantasy you write, and what the book is about that you put into Spiffbo?
Okay, well, my name is Shannon Holly, and I wrote The Door to Trelesque. It's actually my debut novel, so it's the only book that I have out there. Um, I am a Gen X author. I am a ultrasound tech on the weekends and a writer during the week. My book, let's see if I think this is the hardest thing for an author to like condense everything into like that small little blurb. I have
Yeah, we wouldn't have spent
cried over
hundreds
that.
of thousands of words writing these things if it was easy enough to summarize in a paragraph.
Right. Like I have cried over this blurb, like trying to get it to be able to convey what it is. So basically it is a book on self-discovery. It is about it's a dual point of view. It fluctuates between 20-year-old Kate Jones and then her 48-year-old Aunt Esmeralda. It centers over their ancestral home. It also has aspects of other dimensions and worlds, a little bit of space chase in there as well. And it's basically a young woman is shocked when she finds out that her family has the ability to travel through doors only they can see. Um, and she's further thrown into chaos when she finds out that she's the key to finding her missing aunt. And she's also the key to saving all of the worlds. But first, she has to be able to find these doors and be able to see them and then harness power that was previously unknown to her.
Wow. So it's sort of like Portal, but
Yes.
not quite at the same time because it's not like, oh, they go through and then they can never get back home.
No. Like they can, her family, they see these doors and it's like a shimmering through the air and they have the ability to go through any of them to all the different worlds. So,
That's fantastic. So that makes me wonder if this is going to be a big long series with lots of different worlds.
yes. Yes, but
Yay!
it's a standalone. So it's a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it's not like a major cliffhanger. Like you can just read. I wanted the series to be able to pick up book 5 and you would know what's going on just as well as if you picked up book 1.
I love that. That's a great writing style.
Yeah, I think it stemmed from the fact when I was younger, I used to read the Belgariad series.
Mhm.
When I was little, like every 6 months, we would go to the mall and Walden Bookstores was there. And I would go racing in there to see if the next book was out. And if it wasn't, I was devastated. And then if it was, I would take it home and read it in like 2 days and then have to wait for the next book. And just the angst of having to wait for that, just
Yeah.
it's not kind to me.
Yeah, and this is a newer book. It just came out in March of this year,
Yes.
but it's already gotten so many good reviews just in the last few months. It's like solid 5-star reviews across the board.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm sure you have people who are already like, when is the next book coming?
I do.
Oh goodness. So
I
how did
do.
you get into like the indie side and self-published side with something as creative as this and a market that's so desperate for this kind of content versus like maybe querying trad?
So I did start by querying my book. And after it was queried and I worked more on it and it was queer, I started to think and do more research because at this point I had just written the book. I hadn't done any research into the book publishing. I hadn't connected with other writers. It was just me and my little world and my readers. And I was just trying to get the book finished. But then once I put my foot out there and I just started to see what there was, I realized that if you went more traditional, you kind of gave up some of the creative aspects of the book that I was unwilling to give up. I also realized that you're, even as a even if I'm traditionally published, that doesn't mean that they're going to market for me. That doesn't mean that they're going to
Yeah.
push my book. So if I would have to advertise my own book traditionally published anyway, why would I go that route when I could just do indie and still keep control of everything?
That's a great point. And I work in both worlds. So I work with authors who are trad, and I work with I've worked with publishing companies, and I've also, been an indie by choice myself. And a lot of it's for a couple reasons: knowing if your book is more marketable in indie versus trad, because there are niche audiences that are better served by one or the other. And then two, like you said, unless you're one of the lightning strike people who are the next Harry Potter, the majority of trad authors do have to do a lot of their own footwork, their own marketing. And so to your point, how much creative control and royalties are you willing to give up for the potentially same level of marketing?
Right?
But it's exciting. We've had people on the Blitz who were trad and have come indie. We have some who are both. We have some who are indie from the start. And I just love that it's a celebration here in SPFBO of the quality self-published books that could stand
Right.
up, page to page with a trad book.
Yes.
The finalists from last year just blew me away. And I've sort of adopted, indie are my books that are without boundaries. Like, here's a
Right.
good quality book without the boundaries that maybe you'd get with trad. So one of the other things I really loved about yours is that yours has that feeling of the whole family could read this book. Kate
Yes.
is a very relatable character, I think, for younger readers. But also, as a grown woman reading it, I was like, there's a lot of good twists in here and things I wasn't expecting in here.
Right.
So, was that your intention from the start, or did you go in like trying to write young adult or?
I didn't go in trying to write young adult. I kind of wanted to have, I didn't want to, I didn't want the book's focus to be just on Kate. I wanted there to be a strong female, older aspect. I'm 52. I missed that in a lot of books reading when I was growing up. So I just wanted to be like this badass,
Yeah.
traveler that could do anything in there as well.
Yeah, yeah. And it really is. I've read about a fourth, and I'm like, this is a book that you could pick up and just read at a lot of different ages. And we heard two other authors, I think, in the Blitz who are in SPFBO this year that were talking about that aspect of their book. I was like, I miss the old classic fantasies that you could pick up, like The Hobbit, and anybody in the family could read it, and the adults would get different things than the kids. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Well, and that's it. And there's a lot of complex family relationships in there that you can kind of relate to, whether you're a young 20-year-old with this overbearing mother, that's part of it, or whether you're older with more experience and kind of know things.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And it's a good start because FIF09, we've been talking about how the character driven stories were all sort of what was leading the finalists. And
mhm,
with a book like yours, it's very character driven. So,
yes.
what brought you to SPFBO?
Um, I was actually trying to Google contests to enter, but I wanted to find one that wasn't where you kind of like a con, like you had to pay to be in it, and then everybody gets, participation.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to be actually in like a real indie contest. I wanted to see what my book could do, where it could go, how it would hold up to others. So I kind of just stumbled upon Spitfall and like right at the right time too. Like it was like a week before the contest started. So
You made it.
yes, I did.
So, new enough to not have seen like the prior year's stuff and go, oh,
Nope.
this is what I'm getting
Mm.
into. But also, but also still, just enough time to be prepared and think about things. Like we've been talking on the panels about strategies going in and how once you submit the book, there's no strategy to win because the book is
Right.
written and the judges get it and that's that. But there's that whole other aspect of SPFBO that you don't have in writing contests usually with the community and the other authors and the readers. So in that
Yes.
week time, were you like brainstorming how you wanted to go about SPFBO when you came in, or are you going to just go with the flow? Or
I was just gonna just go with the flow. Like I didn't have any thought, but I just, like I said, wanted to see. I knew it was a good book, and I just wanted to see how it went against other good books, and just kind of go. I'm a pantser writer, so it just kind of
yay, Pantsers
just
unite!
kind of go with how it's how it's. So.
Oh yes, welcome fellow pantsers and introverts. So many of us.
Yes.
Oh goodness. So, in your book, who was the hardest character for you to write?
Oh, geez, that's a really good question. Um, and I think it was the mom, Janice. She was hard because she changed from the beginning. Because when I in the beginning, I made her a little bit too rigid, and too harsh, and I needed to tone that down a little bit. So that was hard to go in there and see. Oh yeah, no, I made her a little bit too um, hard. Like nobody liked her. It's like, okay, I need to. I obviously didn't do my job to convey, that she's been through stuff, and that's why she makes decisions that she makes. Like that's the whole premise of it, of her character is, that when you're older, there are things that people go through that you don't know what they've gone through, and that's sometimes why they make decisions that they do.
Yeah.
So
So you
that
got
was the hardest.
the mom is the hardest, and I think in a way sometimes because you were mentioning how important that role was too. Sometimes when we're trying to get a character just right, it can be hard to portray on paper what we want to portray
Yes.
without giving up something else.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my flaws too. Is often when I say I want this person to be really strong, there's a super thin line between strong and annoying.
Yes, 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 yes. When I had all my beta readers coming back saying, "No, she's a little annoying," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right. I got to soften her up a little bit and think about what I want her to be."
Hmm,
So,
yeah. So you're in Lynn's books and the Critiquing Chemist blog for
yes,
SPFBO. Have you looked at any of their other reviews? How are you feeling about sort of being in their blog?
I just I'm a little intimidated. There's a especially with how many books are in the whole contest, like 6 that have over 1,000 reviews. Like
Oh, I don't think there were very many, right? Hold on. I have
there was like
Mark's
6.
link on like quick thing where it's like 3 clicks and there it is.
I thought
But
there
there
was 6
were
that
many.
had
I
like
mean, in the
over
grand scheme of things, there's 300 books in the self-published fantasy blog off for people who are tuning in for the first time. Only 6 of those 300 have over 1,000 ratings on Goodreads per Mark's official blog. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this, the link to Mark's blog and Shannon's books in the description box. 50 total books have over 100 ratings and 80 have 50 ratings. So that's 136 books out of 300 that have more than 50 reviews on Goodreads. And like everything else, the rest of us are all just new, trying to find our niches and things like that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the covers that I've looked at are just amazing and gorgeous. It just it's going to be a tough competition. It really is. But I'm excited for it. I really am, and I have added a lot to my to be read pile. So
I think this is one of the only contests where I go through and I just read all my peers and I'm like, oh, I like this book. Oh, I like that book too. Oh, I like that book. And I'm like, oh, I hope these make it to semifinalists. And then I go, wait a minute, I'm in this contest, okay? But there's something to be said for wanting to know that if your book makes it, it made it among the best. And if your book
yes,
doesn't make it, it didn't make it because you were among the best. And like Lynn's book and Critiquing Chemists and a lot of these other bloggers, they really go the distance to put in-depth reviews, even on the books they didn't necessarily like. And
Right.
that's super, super helpful as an author, to know that you're how to grow in your writing and all of that. So
Yes.
yeah, but my hat is off to all of our fellow participants who are like, we're going to go into this. We're going to be a team. This is going to be great. This is not going to be Hunger
And that's
Games
what
too.
that's what I love about it, is that everybody is so kind towards each other, and it is a community, and it's a very a good feel contest. It is not people are not bashing each other, they're not putting each other down, they're not doing any of that, and it's just such a wonderful, warm place to be. And I absolutely, I'm thrilled. Like, even if I don't win, I know like I have found a good community, so that's a win already in my book. So
Yeah. So as being in SPFBO and like the community and getting all the eyes on your book, has it changed sort of your timeline for like when you want to release future books or
no.
no?
I have a goal. I also have a squirrel mind that just gets easily distracted. So I don't know. I'm hoping that I can get a book written in a year. I am working on a bonus epilogue right now, that will be available for my subscribers, on my for my newsletter. Sorry,
Oh,
my
kitty.
I have 5 of them, so
Oh,
not
a
by
fortune of the
choice,
blog.
by rescue. Where was I? See, my squirrel, my brain.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
you've got
so
one you're writing and some that you're working on
yes,
for your subscribers.
yes. So I know where like the second book starts, but how long that takes me, I don't know. I don't like to put like a timeline like 6 months, because I feel like that stifles me creatively. Like, if it's too much pressure to finish the book rather than see where it goes. Because when I wrote this one, it wasn't a linear way. It was very much a roundabout way, which is great because,
Yeah,
it made the book better. So
yeah, absolutely. Um, I've got a few different series going, but I think it definitely did change which one I was considering putting out this fall because I've got two that are done that I'm in the process of like, okay, now we're editing, getting ready to put out. And when Splitting Dawn hit SPFBOX, I was like, okay, well, apparently that's the one that's going out. Then, but
how
that's
many
going to
do
be,
you write like a year?
huh?
How many books do you write in a year?
I don't write a whole lot a year.
Okay.
I'm an editor for a living, so I spend most of my days in other people's books. But I've
Okay.
been working on revising a few books and then rewriting a third for Lord's Gambit, which is the book that I lost last year when the file got corrupted. I had to completely rewrite that one. But that is a complete series, sans that one book. So when that one's done, that's volume 3, 4, and 5 are ready to go.
Oh, nice.
So I've just been like trying to catch up and get back in my groove after hitting a writing slump last fall and sort of burnout. That's something I think we've talked about on other panels with other panelists is when you get into something like SPFBO, if you plug into every little thing instead of pacing yourself, sometimes you can really burn out because there are so many great opportunities. So this year, my strategy going in is to do the ones that fit in my schedule and not worry about the ones that don't, and instead share the word about the ones that don't fit my schedule for other people,
Right.
so that it works for them. But it's exciting just to see. And once you get the first book done, that's the hard part. The rest are like lazy. Like I know some writers write 3 or 4 books a year. I'm more of a 1 or 2 book a year person.
Yeah, I think that's how it's, because this book took me like a few years to write, from beginning to end, because I started it during the pandemic and I worked in an ER and I was moving and bought a house, so it took me a little bit of time to write it. So my goal is one a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, if I ever worked full time as an author, I could probably churn out more. But to me, writing has always been sort of just a loving thing on the side that I do for fun. Because there's nothing like helping other writers bring their worlds to life as an editor. So I was like, I really like my day job.
yeah, that's good.
So Did your peers and family know you were writing fantasy, or is this like all a surprise? Like, whoa, you wrote this book, you're in this movie.
So my mom and immediate family knew that I was writing. My mom and my best friend like read every single revision and which was a lot. And they were my cheerleaders the whole way. But a lot of my friends, they knew I was writing, but they didn't really know what it was about. So when it came out, they were very excited for me. But yeah, it was kind of like not a top secret, but it just wasn't something that I talked a lot about, only because when I was writing it, I just wanted to keep it to me because it was easier that way to just keep it to me rather than, tell the whole world about it when I wasn't I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
Makes
wise
sense.
because then you don't have any outside pressure. Like, get it done, get it done. Once you put it out,
Right?
everybody's like, "So when's the next book coming?"
Right? And then you don't get people telling you, oh, writing is so hard and lots of people don't make, and it's just, yeah, there's a lot of negativity out there that I didn't want to deal with either. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, which of your cats was the most present while you were writing this book? Who do we have to thank for being the cat?
so Juno was one of them that you just saw up here. I had 3 cats, and then I adopted 2 more after my ex-husband passed away a few years ago because my kids were like, well, we can't. And I was like, it's okay. Okay. So now I have 5. But Juno,
Always room for another cat.
yes. And then I have a long-haired black cat, Miss Luna, who is also a character in the book that I kind of changed a little bit, but those 2 are probably, yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. We love our writing companions.
yes, yes. Sometimes
Um,
it's a bit annoying when they try to lie on the keyboard and I can't do anything, but I would not change them. I love them.
yeah, emotional support kitties for when we're going through SPFBO, like 5 months
Absolutely.
from now, and they're announcing cuts and all that stuff. Unless you're on one of the blogs where it's like, we're just going to tell you who's cut right off the bat. Oh, but I wish you all the best of luck
Thank
with
you.
SPFBO this year. It is
You
amazingly brave
too.
of you to come in here and do a live chat for the first time, sign up for SPFBO, launch a debut novel. Like, it's been a busy few months for you.
It's been a bit crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
But good, I hope, in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would not change this for the world. This has been my dream since I was in 3rd grade. So I'm excited to
Oh,
finally be able to face it.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I've got to finish your book. I know a lot of other people are collecting TBRs too. My poor TBR. But
Oh, and this does not have spice either, just for those people out there that
yes,
like the
it's
spiciness.
clean, it's safe.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and fun. And like I said, I'm about
Yes.
third of the way into it, and I don't think it'll take me long to finish it. And then I'll be one of the people going, "When do we get another book?" But thank you so much, Shannon. It's been such a great time chatting with you. I really do wish you all the best of luck in SPFBO. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
If you're watching and you haven't caught the Blitz before now, this is officially the 19th video in a Blitz full of panels of SPFBO authors. There are 2 more panels tomorrow. We will have met over 75 different authors. So if you're looking for a specific style of fantasy, chances are it is in here somewhere. You can catch up with them on my channel, or you can grab Shannon's book and start reading it along with me for yourself. It's at the link in the description box. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.